Hello, everyone. I had an unexpected turn of events that lengthened my stay in Morogoro and turned out to be such a blessing. As always, thank you for the contributions. It really is powerful and meaningful and it's absolutely real time helpful. Also, please give a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. So, to recap, I flew into Nairobi, went to the headwaters of the Nile in Uganda, and then came down to Arusha and went to the Ngorongoro crater. That was amazing. I rode around Kilimanjaro and stayed in Moshi. That was also amazing. The arrows indicate where I dumped my bike on that bridge. That was terrifying. And then I went to Lushoto and then came down here to Morogoro. I'm going to get into Dar es Salaam. I ended up not going to Zanzibar. That turned out to be a logistical nightmare. So maybe another time, but not this time. So I'm at my friend's house here in Morogoro, and her name is Jenny. Her husband's name is Ellie, and they have kids. And I introduced them last episode. But Jenny's mom, Rosemary, broke her ankle just prior to my arrival. And so, as God would have it, I got to utilize some of my nursing skills and helped care for Rosemary. And I pray it was as much a blessing to her as it was to me. It felt so nice to be useful and be helpful. And it really worked out. There's also this big mountain behind Ellie and Jenny's house, and there's stages of the cross on the trail. And I hiked this trail many times while I was there and saw baboons a couple different times. We'll get more into that later. But the stages are written in Swahili. And the first time I went up, Jenny and the kids went with me, and she was translating the Swahili. And that was really special. It was really cool to have that spiritual experience. I've done many stages of the cross on this trip, but this one was special, and to have it written in Swahili too, I don't know, it added something to it that the others didn't have. It was a really great experience. So these are views as we're going up the trail, up the mountain, and at each of the stations. It was really special, and like I said, I enjoyed it. Did this several times during my stay, and a lot of it was physical exercise, but there was absolutely a spiritual exercise aspect as well. The trail is beautiful. It's well constructed, well maintained, and the scenery is beautiful. I just am so grateful that I had that trail to get some exercise. I really needed it after just sitting around the bike so much. And then as we get to the top here's the cross with the crucifixion, and you can see the mountains and the villages below. Really beautiful area, and some seating for ceremonies and stuff up here. And then this is from the bottom, zooming up, and it's hard to catch it, but there's the cross. You can just barely see it there. And then the mountain across the valley, really cool. And then there were a million little lizards. Jenny saw this one the first day that we were there, but on the subsequent hikes I went up, they were just everywhere. Little tiny guys. And beautiful trees, of course. Okay, and then so Rosemary broke her right ankle. And that was such a bummer for her. And she ended up getting surgery. And we're going to get more into that later. But while we're waiting for surgery, one day the family and I went into the market, and they took me into the market in Morogoro. Oh, it was so much fun. such sights and smells and sounds and just such cool stuff that I never get to experience otherwise. It had some aspects of the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul, but yeah, it was unique too. These little fishes, we're gonna get more into these later. Really interesting. We're actually gonna cook and eat some later on in the video, but they're mostly out of Lake Victoria, and they're a very important protein source for folks. And get some more pictures here. I found them really fascinating, and they sold them all over, but they had these huge quantities of them in the market. Look how beautiful this produce is. And then these little things, these little tamarind, like a little tart meat around a seed. I wouldn't need a million of them, but they were okay. So we took the train into Dar es Salaam for Rosemary's surgery, and there was a KFC in the train station. Had to take a picture of that. This is the view from her hospital room. Look at all the cargo ships out there. There were always like millions of cargo ships out there. Really a busy port. So amazing and really beautiful. And Ellie and I took a walk one day on the beach, and these guys were out there playing football. It was on Barack Obama Drive. I thought that was cool, so you get a picture there. And then Ellie and I stayed one night in Dar es Salaam waiting for their surgery. This is a district that was mostly Indian that we walked through to get to our hotel. I thought that these swastikas in the Indian district were kind of interesting. And we stopped and had some Middle Eastern food for dinner that night that was stellar, super yummy. I've had so much good food in Africa, and this is another example of it. And here's Ellie as we're getting ready to chow down. These greens were off the chart. They actually brought me a second helping because I complimented them. And then this is a little bit of Dar's. We're walking back to the hospital the next day. Look at this wiring. That would terrify me to work on that. It just feels like chaos. I don't know. They probably know all about it and are totally cool, but it would scare me. You see how it's all like packed in there and everything. But as we got to the hospital, she was getting ready to have her surgery. And then so we left, went back to Morogoro, and we ended up in the Royal class. And we had like so much leg room and shoulder room and stuff. It was nice for two big guys. And then, so this is after Rosemary's surgery with those screws and plates in place. The incision looked really good. This is after she got home. I did the dressing change. This is after the first dressing change. And it was really nice because, like I said, I've done a million of these. And to be able to use my nursing skills to be able to help such wonderful people was a gift to me as well. Then there was a lot of insect and arachnid life. So we're going to see some of that. Some crazy insects here. And then this big old spider. I thought it was the boys playing a trick on me at first, but then the thing moved. It's a big spider, and it was cool. It didn't like bother us, or didn't really like bother me, but it's sure a big spider and not something I'm used to seeing all the time. But and then Ellie works in human trafficking, like I said in the last bit, and he also is big into helping the people in his community. And this is a house that he's helping a single mom of 5 build. Really, really great. Ellie and Jenny and their organization help so many people in so many ways. Then one of their friends had a pig roast, and he was actually born in Virginia, so it was like having American food. It was so good, like potato salad and barbecue sauces and fried potatoes. Kind of a surreal experience in Morogoro to have barbecue. And then a different day, we actually got to have the little fish. So you have to like rehydrate them by boiling them, and then you use garlic and onion and cabbage and cook all that up, and shred some carrot and tomato as well. And part of that goes in with the fish, and gets sauteed with some peanut butter in with the fish. And then the cabbage and some of the tomato is kind of on its own. And then here's it all made up. The ugali is in the center. It's a cornmeal. And then the fish closest to us. And then in this photo, the cabbage is closest to us. Super yummy. Mama Joshua totally spoiled me. Then one of Jenny's friends has this farm where they make this, or they grow this sisal. We call it agave, but they use it for fiber and not tequila. So they cut the green leaves off and they run them through a machine, and they get the fiber out of them to use in like building materials and car dashboards and like all these different things. You see them putting them on the conveyor belt there to go into the machine. And so their process, in every process for this stuff, there's a 92% waste. But they're looking at different ways to minimize that waste and to use the materials in different ways, and we're going to see some of that here in a little bit. So this green stuff, kind of bright green stuff, is the fiber, and that's going to be taken out to dry. But look at all the fluid coming off of the factory floor here from the machine, and you see the extra fibers there. Really wild. So as the women are collecting the fibers, this guy is moving the waste fiber and allowing the fluid to drain. See all that? Yeah, like I said, they're looking at some different options to be able to utilize that stuff so there isn't so much waste. And then we're going to see what they do with the fluid here in just a moment. But look how beautiful this is. It's really something. And then they take it out to this field on these racks and let it dry in the sun, and it becomes this straw color. And then look in the background there's the water moving on this on these conveyor belts to be used out in the field to water the plants. And then this machine kind of grooms it and processes it further. So when the fibers are done being refined, they're bundled in a particular way, and then when they get enough of them, they put them on lorries and send them to Dar es Salaam and put them on freighters to send it all over the world. And then some of the other fibers that aren't used in that process, they make ropes with. And I got a little section of rope. I'm so excited. I love it. It's really great. And then what isn't used for rope are used to make these baskets. They have some women in the village that work to make these baskets, and they're absolutely beautiful and super durable and great designs, and I love them. I think they're so great. Look, when this one has a lid, and when you open up the lid, there's like more nested inside. I don't know, it's really cool. And I feel so excited to have my little bit of rope. And then, of course, I had to have another arachnid. There, when we were having breakfast there was this big spider, so I took a video of it. And here comes my boot to give you some perspective on how big the spider is. There he is. But they fed us this amazing breakfast, and then they gave us this for lunch, chicken and rice. It's so good. And then they're from Yemen, and they know how to do coffee. That coffee was amazing. And here's another beautiful sunset. Rosemary continued to improve. She was doing stairs with her crutches, and she was non-weight bearing and still is, but was getting around great on her crutches and doing well. And then my last trip up the mountain, I ran into a big troop of baboons. It was pretty wild. I was like totally amongst them, kind of like surrounded on three sides. And they were pretty chill as long as I was moving slowly and quietly. Whenever I moved quickly or kicked a rock with my feet or whatever, they got pretty nervous and scattered. But if I just stood there and moved slowly, they were cool with just doing their thing. So it was such a treat from God to be able to see these guys, wild baboons, and kind of helped my fear of them. I have a deep respect for them, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I'm as afraid of them as I once was. I still don't want one as a pet or anything, but it was sure fun to run into these guys on my last trip up the mountain. And I just can't say enough good about Jenny and Ellie and the kids and Rosemary and Yvonne and Mama Joshua. They made me feel so welcome, so great. And then one of the days, Ellie took me to an anti-human trafficking event that they did on July 30th, which is International Anti-Human Trafficking Day. And there was a bunch of kids at this event later, school-age kids, and I am not including their pictures in my video out of respect for them and their safety. But it was a huge success. There was a lot of kids there, and they were very engaged. And then a couple days later, Ellie was invited to be on national television to talk about his efforts in anti-human trafficking. And that link is still on YouTube. I'll try to remember to include it in the description. Such an honor for him, and what an opportunity. Incredibly generous family took me to go see the rats. They took me to the market. I got to go to Dar es Salaam a few times and to sit in the royal class on the train and have all that space. They fed me like a king. I can't believe all the different food I ate and the quantity. They took me to the Maasai market. It was like unbelievable. So great. All for just doing a few dressing changes and doing something I love to do anyway. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for the contributors. Please like and subscribe. And peace and love to you all.